ordered one of the pieces myself. You can now see a really ugly picture of me modelling it as best I possibly can.
Yeehaw, everyone. Thank you, Eros, for the yeehaw. How are you all doing today? I hope that you have had a better day than me. Let me tell you guys. So before I tell you what happened today, please do hit a like on your way in. Come and say hello, say how your day was. And believe it or not, as the thumbnail says, there is actually some Arsenal news today. It's not like earth-shattering. It's a bit more corporate. And as you guys might know, Arsenal have a new managing director, and I've heard that it was a very close contest between Richard Garlick and his competitor Steve Onion, but Richard Garlick did get the job. Thank you. And yeah, Arsenal have a new managing director, and we're going to talk about what Thomas Partey coming back means. How will that affect our midfield? Oh my gosh, the Aussie Gooners in the chat. I saw you on the Armory. It was really good. Steve, what's up? Happy Australia Day. Amazing. So good to see you, Steve. So yes, Richard Garlick, new managing director. How will our midfield look with Thomas Partey maybe coming back soon? I've got a few other bits and bobs. Man City have actually made a signing today, which has gone a bit under the radar, and I'll go a bit more into that. We've got some other bits and bobs, a newsy show, and then I'm going to compare our goal scoring stats and defensive stats with Man City and Liverpool's. So we've got loads to get into today, actually. It makes a lovely change. So let's say hello to a couple of you all in the chat, and then I'm going to tell you this disaster that happened today, honestly. Hugo, what's up? Eros saying big up every time. Big up Eros. Big up Hugo. Niall Kane, did you laugh at my Arteta comment? Yes. So in the thumbnail, if you I was asking my sister, I was like, so what should I put on a thumbnail for like just Arsenal news? And she said, like, why don't you just Google like Arteta holding a newspaper? And I was like, no way, that like nothing will come up. And what came up was like a photo from like 10, 15 years ago of Arteta with like long hair. I think he was still a player, like reading a newspaper. It just couldn't have been better. So that's the photo in the thumbnail. And if you Google Arteta reading a newspaper, then you'll find it. Honestly, it's such a good find. So exciting. What's up, AJ? Hello. Hugo's very popular in the chat. Whenever Hugo comes in, everyone's like, big up Hugo every time. Yeehaw, says Eros. I need to see that every time from you, Eros. Also, Callum Grunshaw saying, okay. Okay. Niall, what's up? Thank you for joining. Yes, we are on the road to 1K, but first of all, 800. We're like 15 subscribers away, so aim high. I wonder if we can get there tonight. That would be awesome. So please hit the like so more people get to the stream. I can't wait to get to 800. That would be so exciting. And then, as I always say, when we get to 1K, then I'm going to do a massive giveaway of merch and stuff like that. So yes, do hit the likes. I know it's a pain, but thank you very much. It really does help, apparently, with the algorithm gods. But anyway, look, let me tell you about my day, guys. So as you know, I'm a gardener with my sister Lottie, and I'm also very forgetful, which is why when you guys ask me details about players, I can never remember them. But I didn't realize that when we were driving to the next garden, I'd left my phone, my quite new phone, Samsung Galaxy, like amazing, on the bonnet of my car. And then I realized when like my football podcast stopped playing, I was like, oh, why is it disconnected? Like, where's my phone? Then I realized I couldn't find it in my car anywhere. I remembered at the last job I had left it on the bonnet. So I drive back to the last job, and in the middle of the road, like phone case, screen protector, phone. So my phone had slid off my bonnet. And look, you guys, that's where it was like laying face down into the tarmac. So yeah, that's my phone, guys. It does not turn on. Even the back glass case, like, if anyone's not looked like, and I initially picked it up and I went, oh, like my phone's like effed, like, oh, whatever, like, oh well, like, and then when I tried to like continue playing my podcast, that's when it kind of sunk in. All I do is listen to podcasts all day, and now look, so I'm gonna have to look at what kind of insurance I have. Don't try and ring me because it won't work, but I'm so gutted, but it's quite impressive, I thought. So yeah, it's about as effective, my phone now, as our transfer department is this month. As in absolutely useless at the moment. But yeah, so hopefully you're having a better day than me. I'm so annoyed. But yeah, let's get into the slideshow. So there are a few bits of news today. Oh, it says I'm having trouble. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I think it's saying I'm having trouble connecting. So let me know if I'm like glitching out or anything. Yeah, I'll catch up on some comments. Not on my phone though, of course. And I thought we'd start with the news today. First of all, look how small Leandro Trossard is compared to Kai Havertz. I thought that was quite interesting. This comes from a series of images for their training pictures, and you must have. We'll have a look at the gallery later, but it's so like PR filled. I can't stand their training pictures. They tend to focus on the players that like we're moaning about the most. So we're moaning about ESR not getting minutes. So it's filled with smiling pictures of ESR and Ramsdale to show the fans like, don't worry guys, they're happy, don't worry. But it really annoys me. But anyway, look how small Trossard is. I thought that was sweet. So as I said, yeah, we're going to talk about the new managing director. Not the most exciting news. However, I really wanted to dig into it and find out who's actually in charge of Arsenal now. I find out a bit more about what the role is and find out really about Richard Garlick. So we're going to look at this nice athletic article that has spoken to people that know Richard Garlick and used to know him and say what he's like. Kind of see what we can find out about the person that's now steering the ship, if you will. Also think about Partey, and then, as I said, a little fun comparison at the end of how many goals we've scored and how many goals our direct rivals have scored this season. So I'm really excited to get into it. I'm very excited. Thank you very much again for joining me, and remember to hit the likes. So we're going to start with that, like actual news. Can you believe it? It's not a transfer, but I guess it is. Richard Garlick has transferred from being, I think it was director of football operations or something. I'll tell us in the next article. He's been transferred to managing director. And a managing director, you guys can see that I don't work in corporate structure. A managing director will have, I've tried, but I don't have the focus. I can't. A managing director will have a variety of duties depending on where they work, but they typically are responsible for developing the company's strategies, providing strategic advice to various organizational leaders, and helping the company to achieve its goals. I don't know whether that means goals on the football pitch or financial goals, but basically he's a very important guy now, and he's replacing Vinay. I can't remember how to say his second name, but we'll read out an article and I'll try and say Vinay's second name. As the role of managing director, CEO type thing. I'm really not very good at like corporate structure. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Richard Garlick. Let's hope he doesn't stink up the place. Am I right? I'm kidding. Okay, so the role, Arsblog. goes on to say, Arsenal have confirmed that Richard Garlick will become the club's new managing director and will lead the executive team when CEO Vinay Venkatesham steps down from his role next summer. So he's effectively becoming CEO. They've just changed the job title, I think. He joined the Gunners from the Premier League organisation in 2021 and is currently Director of Football Operations. Yeah, that's what he's doing at the moment. With responsibility for all football operations and administration across the club. Okay. And if he joined since 2021, you can argue that from 2021, and I personally think from 2021, our football operations have gone in the right direction. Would you not say? We're not quite there yet, but it has been an upward trajectory from where we were in 2021. So arguably he's done a pretty good job. It could be better, it could be much better, but it has been going in the right direction. I just hope he's good enough to take on this new responsibility. And actually, we're going to find out a bit more about him, the guy that is now in charge. So over the last 3 years, he's worked closely with sporting director Edu on recruitment and contract matters. Our contract matters as well for the last 3 years have been better. So for me, that's kind of promising. We have been tying our players down to contracts, sometimes almost unnecessarily, like Eddie and Reece with their 100k contracts. But we have managed to tie down Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Gabriel. I think Ben White's on the verge if he hasn't signed already. So the contract situation is good, and it seems like this Richard Garlick bloke has kind of been on top of it all, if you like. So we assume, says Arsblog, his new role will entail a broader remit, although it's unclear at this point whether it includes overseeing commercial operations, which is headed up by Juliet Stott, and financial operations, headed up by Stuart Wisely. So will he be in charge of them as well, or will they keep doing their thing? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really affect me, to be fair. So Vinay, who announced his upcoming departure, previously held the managing director for 2 years, and then he was promoted to CEO. So do we have a CEO now? If Vinay is leaving as CEO, I don't know, that's just confusing. But as we know, Vinay's leaving in summer. There's also been some speculation that Tim Lewis might take more control of the day-to-day running of the club. Potentially that remains the case. We will see. Tim Lewis, I was researching today, in the hierarchy, he's basically the go-between, the point of contact and the head reporter. Like, he's the Kroenkes' right-hand man, basically. The Kroenkes really, really trust him to tell them exactly what's going on at Arsenal at all times, because as we know, they're not here day to day. So Tim Lewis is the guy that reports to the Kroenkes everything that's going on. But yeah, now Richard Garlick will be managing director now. Let's see initially what you guys kind of think of the news. Niall, were you not listening to my story? That is not paint on my phone. No, my phone's messed up. Aussie Gooner saying, buggers, you killed the phone. I sure did, Steve. I'll share it on social media if you want. That would be great, Niall, if you want to. Like, every little helps, as they say in Tesco's. Hey, Tyrell Gunner TV. Everyone subscribe to this really talented young man, Tyrell Gunner TV now. He really knows what he's talking about. So do subscribe to him if you have not already. Mohsin is also here. Hello, Mohsin. AJ. I like how you guys talk to each other in the chat too. It's nice. Ravi, I will star the question. Actually, I'm going to answer it now. So question, do you see Arsenal beating Liverpool, and will that help to keep one foot in the door in the league? You know, I always answer this question with, like, I'll have to see the lineup. Because if Arteta does some dumb stuff, like playing Partey at right back and then Zinni left back as well, like, we're getting pammed. But if there's a reasonable lineup, and if none of our key players are injured, then hopefully we'll get a repeat of the performance we had against you guys at the FA Cup, but we'll actually be able to get some goals. So it could well happen. I would love to think that we will beat you guys, but as long as there's no tomfoolery in terms of lineups, you know. And yes, that will help to keep one foot in the door of the league. Absolutely, because, you know, we gain 3 points and take 3 points away from you guys. Effectively, that is why they call it a 6-pointer. So yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not. You guys are saying rest in peace, phone. Man United moving like the Glazers in this January window. Yeah. Oh dear, Fran. Next phone is a Google. Trust me. thing is, Steve, I got the first Google Pixel, like the first one, and it was like it sucked. I really hated it. Like, so maybe they've got better, but I found the first one like super glitchy, and I hated it. That was like 5 years ago. So yeah, hey Jordan Hyman, what's up? Happy birthday for the other day. VX as well. Good evening to you too. Okay, you guys can hear me okay. Aussie Goon is saying, Aussie, you know about business, so everyone listen. Aussie is saying it's a broad role, mainly strategic. Okay. Niall says, will Garlick now have a say and a role with signings because Edu is so slow and lazy at his job? God, tell us how you really feel, Niall. We need a better person than Edu who's ruthless and can get quick deals over the line, quality signings. I do completely agree. From what I understand, Garlick has been quite key in like negotiating new signings, and I don't think he chooses like who's coming in though. That's mainly on like Arteta and Edu. From what I've heard, like Garlick has been the one to really negotiate the contracts and like stuff like that. Which again, like I'm not sure we've been really great at like approaching big players. It's kind of been players that have been quite easy to get, in my opinion. Although not Declan Rice, but others have been ones that haven't had much competition. So I can't really tell. Eros saying I'd put Gonzalo to be the new CEO. That would be an absolute catastrophe. Have you seen what I did to my phone? What do you think I would do to Arsenal Football Club, Eros? But I appreciate. Aussie Goon is saying I got one. It's killer. So I know. Let me know any thoughts you think about this Richard Garlick thing. As I said, I hope he doesn't stink out the place. I will bore you though for another 5 minutes because I don't know. Do you guys? I think it's interesting. So if I think it's interesting, you'll probably think it is interesting as well. I'm going to tell you a bit more about this Richard Garlick bloke before we get into the fun stuff. Because there are some quite interesting things I have found out doing a little bit of internet research. So, right, if you give me 1 moment, I will share my screen with you. So give me a moment, share screen, sit back, have a bit of popcorn, and we will tell you a bit more about, it is waffle time, it's garlic waffle time. That sounds horrible. So yeah, it's garlic waffle time, guys. And there's this amazing article from The Athletic talking all about when we first brought Richard Garlick to the club, and there's some quite interesting information in there. So when he first arrived in 2021 as the club's new director of football operations, this just says about his so before this he was a no guys, I don't want to join The Athletic. Well, I can't afford to join The Athletic. Oh no, I don't think it's going to let me read the article, guys. Oh no. Okay, I'll just try and remember it actually. So basically at West Ham, he was in charge of like football issues and like behind the scenes like administrative issues, and he basically got stripped of the footballing issues to just be like administrator. Apparently because he wasn't like as good with like the football side of things, which is really like in a nutshell. But that was quite concerning to read. However, the broad picture of this guy is that he's actually really good at like interpersonal relationships and very good in like pressured scenarios. He was in charge of like organizing how the clubs in the Premier League got through COVID-19 and stuff. All the people that have worked with him have nothing but good things to say about him. So yeah, it's all kind of glowing reports basically. And I have nothing personally against the guy. However, I would say that you're in a really important position in Arsenal now, if you were not before. And I hope that it's quite promising, to be fair, that he's not like an ex-Arsenal legend. In fact, he played a bit of youth football, like academy level, but then trained up to be a sports lawyer. And since then has just worked in business, basically sports business. He's got no like links to Arsenal. I think he's just a guy that wants to do his job the best he can. He's not like an ex-player, anything like that. So I just hope he's like a good enough standard to be able to do the role that he's been promoted to. People are saying it's quite a good role because it's continuity basically. So at Manchester United, for example, they're bringing in brand new CEOs that will have to completely learn all of the ropes all over again, have had nothing to do with any of the process of the last 5 years. Process. I see Jez is here. He loves that word. Whereas here, you've got someone who's been here for the last 3 years, knows exactly who's who, how things are run, and it's an internal promotion. So, you know, there's continuity. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he's at. However, if you do think that, yeah, the other side is, if you do think that, you know, the management and direction of Arsenal has not been good enough the last few years, then he is one of the guys that's been like in charge of all that, and especially things like contracts and transfer negotiations. He's been like very involved in that. Apparently he works, like he has meetings with Edu, Mikel, or at least in his last role, Edu, Mikel, Tim Lewis, Josh, to kind of discuss strategy and things like that. So if you think they're all a bunch of idiots, basically, then an idiot has just become managing director. But from what I read, apparently he's quite good at his job, and I have high hopes. But like everyone at Arsenal, just please prove to me that you don't just care about selling all the merch that you want. You do actually care about winning on the football pitch. That's kind of my piece on that. So who was Arsenal's best at getting the players in and attracting the world-class players? George Graham? Wenger? I don't know, Jez. You tell me. Educate me. Thank you so much for dropping in the chat as well, Jez. Let us know if you've done any streams today. I need to catch up. As I said, I've been a little bit out of touch, Jez, because someone ran over my phone. So, oh, David Dean. Yes, getting them in was David Dean, and attracting them, Jez, Arsene, and George Graham. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know what Richard Garlick has on guys like that, but let's just hope that, you know, he can really push us on. Yes, let's hope so. Right. Anyway, that's enough business chat. Our next topic of conversation is, drum roll please, Thomas Partey. I was going to read you that article, but then The Athletic just put me behind a paywall, and honestly, I can't afford £2 a month. That would bounce at this point in my life. So one day, though, I would love that. I would love The Athletic. So guys, is it party time? I've seen that since we started talking about the corporate structure at Arsenal, I've like halved in as many people who are watching. So look, come back, guys. It's party time. That sounds so desperate, right? So we're getting reports, and it's been argued that Thomas Partey potentially has been training for a bit longer than this, but Ghana, I think yesterday or in the last couple of days, were knocked out of the AFCON. So suddenly, you know, coincidentally, Thomas Partey has now appeared back in Arsenal training photos. Like, yes, so potentially he was training, but they felt like they couldn't post photos of Thomas Partey while Ghana was still in the AFCON. But now Ghana are unfortunately out, and Thomas Partey's fit. He's training with the team. And in fact, there is word that he could be fit for Nottingham Forest on, is it next Tuesday? It's not at the weekend. I think it's on Tuesday. So yeah, where would you play Partey? Like, with Arteta's weird midfield going on at the moment, like, would you just stick Partey back where he was before? So the defensive, like, deep lying six. I would probably do that. I'm not going to lie, and then have Declan Rice playing off him in the left eight. But then that would mean Arteta dropping his beloved Havertz. So it's quite interesting, actually, and we'll dive into this, how the midfield is actually going to look with Partey back. Or do you think he'll continue trying to play him at right back, which is where we saw him play in the Community Shield and the first couple of matches and pre-season, right at the beginning of the season? So what do you think, guys? Where do you think Partey will come back? Will he come back? I'm looking forward to reading a few of your comments. So now gazing, it's Waffles time. Big up, Fran. Hope you're well. Big up, Anthony. I hope you're well too. So Sir Peter Hillwood, David Dean were the best at going undercover to get the players, and Wenger was a magnet to get the best. Yeah, I'm not sure Arteta is at the level yet to be a magnet to get the best, other than perhaps if other players were saying like, oh, you need to come and play for this guy, he's really great. But if he keeps upsetting players, then they're not going to be saying that to, you know, their buddies from international duty and stuff like that. Aussie Guna saying, time to sell Thomas Partey ASAP. We must do a stream again soon. Our streams were legendary last season, and I want to get your take on like what's going on at the moment. I do agree. I think our system is way too reliant on Thomas Partey. We need a team where the system stays relatively the same, regardless of the personnel within it, rather than hinging on having this player fit, this player fit, this player fit for it to work. Like, you know, we need to be a bit more flexible in that sense. And I feel like when Thomas Partey went out, like early on in the season, it was, first of all, it was so predictable, and it seemed to just like throw off so many plans. Like they should have known Thomas Partey was going to get injured, because he gets injured like every 2 weeks. Yeah, I am fed up of relying on the guy. When he does come back from this huge long injury break he's had, like how likely is it, do you think, that he'll get re-injured very soon? I wouldn't be surprised if he's injured again in like a week or two, honestly, because he just seems so injury prone clearly, and getting back to high intensity prem training, like probably his other groin will go or something. So we can't, you're very right, Steve, we can't like say Thomas Partey is back, like this is the main ingredient to the rest of our season now. Like Arteta needs to be prepared for him to get injured basically straight away again, and have the midfield be able to work with or without Thomas Partey. So let me know your thoughts on Partey, guys. Abu Diaby is back. Is he? Abu Diaby. What do you mean? Is that a joke? So he's played primarily box to box role. So are you saying that we should bring Abu Diaby to play the left eight? Why are you mad, says Jez? To what? To what was that? Sorry. Sam Wilson, hello. Partey owes us so much. When he comes back, I just wonder if he kicks the ball, he will be out for 2 years. Yeah, I feel the same. As the Aussie Guna says, it's just, yeah, we can't be relying on Thomas Partey. He's way too injury prone. However, I will be interested to see what happens when Thomas Partey does get back. So let's think about it. He might be available to play sometime for Nottingham Forest this weekend. Maybe he will play the first half or 20 minutes at the end of the match, and I'm sure he'll get a wonderful reception. Everyone will be so happy to see him, whatever. But what I'll be interested to see is, who does he come on for? I don't know. The way I would play it is put him like, yeah, defensive midfield, have Declan Rice on the left wing, playing next to Odegaard. However, I fear that he can't drop Declan Rice, so I think Havertz will have to be dropped. Oh no, I hear you cry. I would personally be really happy. I want to see that double pivot of Declan Rice, Thomas Partey. I think that would be amazing, and especially if you can practice that before Liverpool, because I think going into Liverpool, I would really like to see Declan Rice and Thomas Partey in the centre. Can you imagine? And then Odegaard right ahead of them. I think it will just be so much more stronger and stable for Odegaard, because Odegaard, I don't know if you've noticed, has had to be coming back and defending so much more since Kai Havertz is in the left eight. He hasn't been able to like fully like spread his wings and attack, because Kai Havertz isn't as good defensively as Granit Xhaka, so he's been having to cover a lot for Kai Havertz. I think Odegaard is having to do so much, whereas if you had Declan Rice there instead of Kai Havertz, who is just mopping up all of the team's mess, then hopefully Odegaard will be able to kind of spread his wings a little bit more and play better. I just think, for me, let me know what you guys think. I would want Declan Rice, Thomas Partey in the centre with Odegaard just ahead of them. I think that would be awesome. And even if it's only for 2 weeks, like perhaps if Partey is just fit for Liverpool, I think that could be like, that's a really, really solid midfield. So that's hopefully what I think we will see. So yeah, anyway, this is what I was talking about, the training photos, guys. Look, it's Emile Smith-Rowe and Aaron Ramsdale. Don't worry, Arsenal fans, they're all really happy. There's no problems here. It wound me up a bit, to be fair, like looking at the training photos. Let's have a look at them together, you know, why not? So, look, let me show you guys. Share this tab instead. Can you see that okay? If you are listening, we're just going to have a quick whip through the 27 photos of Arsenal training that were released today. So just imagine them in your head if you're not watching and listening. Oh, and if you are listening or watching back later, hello, welcome. Please do comment kind of on catch up and say hello and hit the like and all those good things. But anyway, let's have a look at some of these training photos. Why not? So let's go back to the beginning. Oh, I just find them, I don't know, they're not for me. I find them really cringe. You guys might have noticed, but I'm kind of against I hate all things like adverts being sold stuff, like being PR'd. I hate it. I can't stand it. Like, I can't listen to adverts. I can't listen to radio adverts. I hate like marketing and being marketed and PR'd. And I feel like the training photos, they're so like closely controlled as to who we see and who we don't see. Like, it's all just part of like the PR kind of narrative. That's probably a bit harsh, but anyway. So look, first photo, David Raya, very good. That's reminding us about his massive overhead throw that he did against Crystal Palace that led to that Trossard goal. Cool, like good vibes, good vibes. Martinelli, Arteta, good vibes. Look how happy our manager is. Don't worry, guys, nothing's wrong at Arsenal. And look, Kai Havertz, nice smiling man. You can't possibly be mean to Kai Havertz. Look how happy he is. That's just like the messaging I get from it. That's a cool photo of William Saliba though. Like, yeah, that's badass. And here we've got Thomas Partey in front of a tiny, tiny goal. Yep, it is really cool to see him back. I'm not going to lie. I just don't want to get my hopes up too high that he's going to come back and be the savior for Arsenal. Like, I've been hurt too many times, Thomas. However, if he could finish out the season for us, I think it would be a huge bonus. Especially if it meant shunting Havertz out of the left A. I would not mind that. There's Martin Odegaard, Eddie Nketiah, hey. Eddie, Ben White, Thomas Partey there, Cedric and Reece Nelson. I thought Cedric was meant to be on his way. But again, these rumours of like players being transferred out have also just kind of disappeared. So who knows? I don't even know if we're gonna. I haven't talked about how annoyed I'll be actually if we don't get anyone out the door by the end of January. I think that will be so disappointing. But yeah, there we go. Emile Smith-Rowe, Benjamin White. Look how happy Arteta is. Don't you just love Mikel Arteta? Emile looks like he's just rolled out of the pub there and is like involved in a bar fight. Sorry, Emile. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Don't worry, guys. The lads are all really happy. No problems here. Like, I know they're not going to show us photos of the team like actively arguing and stuff, but I feel like everything Arsenal do is so calculated to portray a certain image and that kind of thing. It's just marketing company over football club sometimes, you know? So yeah, those are a few of the training pictures. Lovely to see Thomas Partey back, but I wouldn't hang your hopes on having him back for too long, as I said. So let's see what you guys are saying. Abu Diaby was a great midfielder that got injured every minute. Thank you. Context. You know I'm a newbie Arsenal fan, so sometimes I need some of the context, Steve. Thank you. Yes, basically, yeah, that is Thomas Partey. Diaby was one of our most promising talents, but injuries ruined him. Thank you guys. He was injured all the time. So much potential, like infinite potential. Fran, what is your opinion, interpretation of double pivot? For me, I might be wrong, but two players that sit just in front of the defenders, like as a little pair, and basically, yeah, they sit there and kind of control the center of the pitch, attacking. If one goes up to attack, the other one will stay back and defend, and vice versa. Just a little team of two in the center. Is that about right? Let me know if I got it about right. But yeah, Arsenal should. Hello, welcome, new Alan B starred MP. Welcome. We've got an MP in the chat, lads. Arsenal should not sign players who qualify for AFCON. We need the team together for the season. Yeah, I hear that. However, then you're like, you're blocking off a whole, like, the most talented group of players from the like Africa, basically, where like there's so much talent. Does it even go like you can't just I understand where you're coming from, but then you'd be missing out on such a huge pool of talent. I don't think, I think the benefit of having a highly talented AFCON worthy player outweighs like losing them for a couple of weeks every, like, what is it, 4 years or 2 years? I can't remember. That's a very harsh line to take. I'm glad that our players are qualifying for AFCON. It shows they're really, really the best of the best. So, Carlos Gunner, big up. How are you doing? Saying, hi Fran, I think Partey's career at Arsenal is near the end, and Odegaard is simply not, I can hear you saying that, like, simply not good enough. Sorry, that was a horrible accent, but I hope you're doing well, Carl. I miss you, man. I see by your slides that everything is happy in the camp, even though we are having another failed season. Thank you, Carl. That's what I'm saying. It like makes my blood boil. It makes me feel physically ill seeing like happy, smiling faces of the manager, and like 90% of people who go through those slides will be like, oh, look, they all look so happy. Everything's fine. I'm not going to be angry at the club. It's kind of a way to like keep the sheep in control, like keep the sheep happy. Like, someone was saying on a stream earlier today, it's like, what is the point about whinging and complaining about everything when I know that I can't change it as an Arsenal fan? This is quite a big fan channel as well. If he's watching, like, I'm sorry, but I just disagreed with this take. What's the point in going home and just ranting and raving on my YouTube channel about, you know, what's going on at Arsenal? I'm really upset about, because it won't change the situation. And, you know, I'd rather just look at things that are making me feel good. And I completely disagree with that, because that's completely invalidating the voice of the fan, saying like whatever fans say, like it doesn't affect the club whatsoever. Whereas in fact, if enough fans are all saying the same thing, the club sit up and listen. We know they monitor YouTube, they monitor social media. And as long as they see everyone saying, oh, everything's fine, like good luck to the guys, great signing, Havertz is a great signing, the more they will just keep on doing the same thing and just taking us for granted. It's our responsibility as like customers, like paying consumers, if you want to put it that basically, to say when we're not happy with something, and to say that our voices don't matter, there's no point like whinging and moaning about it because it won't change anything, is a complete disrespect to fans. Like, fans are everything. Without fans, there is no football club. Like, we keep the wheels turning at the club, we keep the lights on. And I think if a fan, I are unhappy about something and not happy with how something's gone down, it's not just our right, but I think almost our duty to say that and report and feedback and let the club know. And our voices do matter, you know? So yeah, inspirational speech for you all today. Yes, Kyle saying, unfortunately, we're not a football club anymore, just a brand now. Apparently it's been over 10. It was a minimum of 10 merch drops already this season. That's not including the home and away kits and goalkeeper kits and stuff like that. It's unbelievable. But as long as people keep buying, then they'll keep dropping them. I don't know if you watched, Kyle. It was a really good show by the Highbury squad, talking about whether it's a marketing company over a football club now. And it was so interesting to listen to. I really agreed with loads of Sophie's points on that. And yeah, I feel like that too. Hey, good evening all. Good evening, Lottie. I hope hockey went well. BX saying, I just need Partey to be great these next 4 months, then ship him out. Yeah, like perform for 4 months, then you're gone. You're right, Fran. Fair play about the double pivot. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Lottie. Fran got her cover behind the door. No, not today. Lottie's had to go home. Sad. Wow, 26 likes, 28 likes now on my end. Oh, thank you so much. The target today is 50 likes. Normally it's 40 likes, but we've been getting 40 likes every single stream. I'm super grateful. So today, the first time, I'm going to try and get 40. I started with trying to get 30, trying to get 35, then it was 40. Since we've been hitting 40, let's try and get 50. And as I said, please do subscribe. Road to 1K. I'm so excited. Please help me get there. I can't wait. I really can't wait. So anyway, yes, marketing company. Please put any questions in the chat. But yeah, what I'm going to go into now quickly before we kind of wrap up and take some questions, a bit of like in other news from across the league, and then I'm going to compare our stats with Man City and Liverpool to kind of see where we're at compared to them, and it's quite interesting viewing. So do stick around for that. But I thought I'd do a little bit of in other news across the league. And as I said, Man City have actually made a signing today, a few hours ago, that's gone a little bit under the radar. So I'll tell you about that. And I promise it's not clickbait. I thought it might be, but it's not. Right, this is a random one. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but yesterday, Pep Guardiola Chasing Perfection, a little documentary was released on BBC iPlayer, and I just had not seen anything about this, and I wondered if anyone had seen it. Are you going to give it a watch, or would you skip over that quicker than Verstappen in a Red Bull? LL. Yeah, interesting. Pep Guardiola documentary just released on BBC iPlayer yesterday. Apparently, it's a really interesting insight into his brain and ideals and things like that. I might actually give it a watch. It sounds quite interesting. There's quite a lot of good football shows on Netflix at the moment across the TV sphere. I'm really enjoying some of it. I like Welcome to Wrexham. Ted Lasso doesn't really count, but you guys could probably imagine that I love Ted Lasso. That's right up my street. There's one about international team captains. I think it's called like Captains. Another one about academy players. Lots of good football TV on at the moment. So, Anthony Herbert, you're on it quickly, saying it's worth a watch, Fran. I wish I was as speedy as you, Anthony. If you say it is worth a watch, then I will watch it. I don't know. I don't really want to watch the whole hour, though, of people just praising Pep and his genius. It makes me feel a bit bitter. So I might not. Yes, so Man City have actually made a signing. And I say sort of because the catch is that he's not going to come and actually play for them for another year because he's 17 years old. Argentine midfielder Claudio Echeverri actually signed, as you can see, like 5 or 6 hours ago. It was this afternoon. And yeah, Man City have actually made a signing. So for everyone saying that, it can't be done at this time of the window, it can. And this is probably going to be as they say, the next, what was it? They said, so it's the next Lionel Messi, wonder kid, Man City have signed today. So as it says here on BBC Sports, Manchester City have signed Argentina under-17 midfielder Claudio Echeverri from River Plate. That's a cool club name, by the way, I like that. City will pay about 12.5 mil for Echeverri, who has just signed a 4.5-year contract that runs to 2028. The 18-year-old, he's 18, okay, who has made 6 first-team appearances for River Plate, will remain with the Argentine club throughout 2024. City agreed a similar deal with River Plate for Argentina forward Alvarez. Oh, wow. So that's how they got Alvarez, who's like smashing it at the moment with them. Okay, so they've got another Brazilian wonder kid. And I'm just wondering, where are our deals like this, Edu? Where's our Alvarez? We've got Marquinhos, who we paid 3 million for when it could have been a free transfer. Martinelli, I'll give you that one, but it's annoying to see, Man City doing the kind of deals that we were sort of promised when Edu was put into the sporting director role. I'm starting to really doubt Edu more and more. If I could change anyone at the club, it would be Edu at this moment in time. Really, Edu and Arteta are really like a close pairing though, but I think our transfers are beginning to look more and more shaky, like the more time goes by. Because when a lot of these players were first brought in, like Nuno Tavares, Sambi Lokonga, Fabio Vieira, it was kind of the case of like, oh, they're young and raw, they'll really bang in about a year. And it's been a year and they're not banging at all. We're kind of in the same situation. Now we're talking and looking at these players going out on loan. Marquinhos as well. It just doesn't look like they've been developed at all, really, under Arteta. So, yeah, a lot of these signings I'm feeling quite disillusioned by at this point. Echeverri was Argentina's captain at the Under-17 World Cup and scored a hat-trick as they beat Brazil 3-0 in the quarterfinals. Yeah, very nice, very nice. He finished the tournament with 5 goals as Argentina came fourth after losing the third-place playoff. So interesting. Man City made a signing. Where are our signings? Where are our Brazilian wonder kids? I don't know. Niall asks, Will you be having memberships and monetizations once you reach 1K and member shout outs, etc.? Yes, of course, of course. I don't know if I want to. I hate adverts. I hate adverts. I don't know if I want to like have adverts run on my videos. I might just keep it as super chats only. So we'll have to see. I'm not eligible for super chats yet, but soon that'll be great, and that'll be all that fun stuff. Yeah, totally. Get Lottie back on your watch along, says Niall. I've missed that day. Yeah, we keep talking about it. I just need to work out how to put the clock on watch alongs. Until I work out how to put the clock on watch alongs, like, please, someone help me. I can't do watch alongs because I keep having to say every 30 seconds, like, what minute I'm on in the match. So, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is a very ambitious owner at Wrexham. I hope they go up the leagues as they're very rich Hollywood actors. Yeah, I'm sure they will. I've never heard of him either, but yeah, as Anthony says, it's where they got Alvarez from. Yeah, it's just interesting. Niall says, I hate YouTube adverts. They do my head in. Yeah, I could not survive without YouTube Premium. I just could not. And my sister faced that and I just use her account. Fran, keep smashing it up. You and your channel is box office. Thank you. Today's a bit of a quieter day, a bit of a more chilled stream after yesterday's Yeehaw stream. If you guys didn't watch that one, then please go and check it out. But thank you so much, Ravi. I really appreciate that. I'm quite new and like not very confident, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Lottie is here. You're watching. Think I'll do a watch along soon for sure. Yes, please. Let's do it. Maybe a Man U game, or well, an Arsenal Man U. That would be good. We did an Arsenal Man U watch along on our birthday, because we're twins and we beat you guys. Well, it was like the one where we scored the like 92nd minute winner or something. Yeah. Niall says, I've missed you and Fran on the watch alongs, Lottie. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Yes, we only did one. It must have been quite a good one then. But yeah, we'll have to do that again. That was very fun. Another thing that we've got just here. Oh yes, a bit of a more serious topic. Maddy Cusack. I always like to talk about these things. I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about Thierry Henry, talking about like opening up about his mental health and stuff. But Maddy Cusack, so absolutely just heartbreaking. Sheffield United midfield apparently was under huge amounts of pressure before she unfortunately like passed away this year, and basically they've launched an investigation into her death. I know it's not happy reading at all, but I mean, the rumors are that it was a mental health related like issue that led to her passing, and just that the light is being shone on this. It's being investigated because I think all across the leagues, more light and more attention needs to be paid upon like the mental health of these players and professionals, and just the whole topic overall spoken about more. I'm really passionate about that, so that people don't hide these things, don't suffer in silence, and mental health is so important, clearly. Just the more light I see shone upon these issues, and it was amazing to see Thierry Henry speaking up about it, the more everyone feels able to tackle these kind of things and not have to suffer alone. So yeah, not quite as light as my normal topics, but I think it's great that an investigation is being launched to kind of explore the pressures that some of these players are under every single day, and perhaps things like social media abuse and stuff like that, which contributes to like tragedies like this. So sad, but I'm really glad that it's being looked into a little bit more. Another bit of unrelated news after that really sad story, and thoughts go out to her family and friends, of course. James Maddison could be making his return from injury for Tottenham in Friday's FA Cup tie against Man City. So that is tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. I think I'm going to be at dinner with the mother-in-law. Oh, I might have to like stick it on in my AirPods or something. Yeah, it's Tottenham Man City in the FA Cup tomorrow, and it looks like Maddison could be back. So that's not good for Arsenal, but I'm sure Spurs fans will be all over the place. Yes, it's a women's player that passed away. If you look into it, it's really sad, but it has shone a light on like the pressure that these players are put under and stuff. It's really sad, but I'm just glad that it's being investigated and things like that. But yeah, don't think about it. Don't get too sad. Match was rigged, Lottie. When we beat you guys, it was not rigged. I think it was a Champions League night. Niall saying, I can see Spurs beating Man City. I have that feeling if you want to go deep, you need to beat the big favourites. No, Niall, this is an Arsenal channel. Spurs will not beat Man City. Spurs can come nowhere near a trophy because that is the only thing that we have over them at the moment. And even us bragging that we have more trophies than them is starting to get a little bit more dicey to use as an argument, because it's been like 4 or 5 years since we've won the FA Cup. Like, this is why we, as well as like just Arsenal being a successful club, we need to get a trophy soon so that we can continue to rub it in Spurs' face that they have no trophies, and Spurs under no circumstances can win one. So Arteta, you need to sort it out for us, please. The streets need this. Right, so yeah, Maddison's back, blah, blah, blah. So this is a question that I get asked a lot. We've got through kind of the boring stuff. If you're still here, thank you. This is what I get asked a lot. Who do we think will actually win the PL? And I'm going to go into that quickly because it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. So we'll do that for 10 minutes, then call it a night. But I can just see a question from Ravi in the chat. Oh, Anthony, I've just seen your comment as well. Let me come to you after the woods, Ravi, saying, Fran, have you seen that Callum Wilson has been put up for sale at Newcastle and Arsenal might be going in for him for 18 million? You can look it up. Yes, I heard that being spoken about today. I think anyone would be better than Nketiah and Jesus in terms of goals scoring up front. Last season, he did score 18 goals in the Premier League. I know quite a few of them were penalties. Really good player, I think. But January? Do you mean January? Because if it's summer, like, in all honesty, like, I'll talk about it then. Unless it's happening in January, then it just makes me annoyed to hear these links. I'm just, I don't know if you heard my Scrooge stream yesterday, but I get so annoyed with, like, the maybe January links that aren't actually going to happen. But 18 million is a really achievable price tag. I mean, if we'd have potentially sold someone like Fabio Vieira or something like that, we could have got 18 million and now we could be getting Callum Wilson. And he's not like world class, but he's better than what we've got. Maybe a loan deal would be better, like, because he's not the striker, and I'd be worried that if we got him, then we wouldn't push on in summer and get an Isak and Osimhen and Ivan Toney. Like, Callum Wilson is not that level, but he's better than what we've got. So he's not quite the level we need to be going for, but I'd say he's like a similar level to Jesus. So I don't know. I would probably go for it, like, if it meant we could maybe win the league this season, because at the end of the day, what's like one excess player if we've managed to go ahead and win the league? I'm not too bothered about it, to be honest. 18 million, that's a really good price because everyone scores more goals than Jesus. So I would take it, but is it going to happen in January? That's kind of my question. So Ravi's question saying, question, Fran. Yes, put your questions in the chat. Thank you guys if you're still here and watching. How long do you persist with Arteta and some of the poor players if you don't win the league or a major trophy one season? You mean this season? This is a really difficult one for me. I definitely will give him till the end of this season. And then it's the question for me whether or not he gets one more season or not. And for me, that really highly depends on, like, it's borderline right now. The fact that we've gone out of both domestic cups, that's 2 trophies we're not going to get, is kind of, it's really damaging for me. So if we really fall out of the title race and drop out early from the Champions League, then it's kind of time to move on for me. So yeah, no trophies this season, and my patience is kind of had. But then the other half of me is kind of torn, because if we get 1 or 2 good signings, like, I was listening to a Chelsea fan the other day saying, like, Arsenal are really not far away. Like, you screwed up the summer transfer window, but that can be fixed. You get a decent left day and a striker. You're right back to challenging again next season and, like, can go on to actually win the league. So for me, I'm really torn between, basically, if you really underachieve by the end of this season, then for me, like, it's time to go, to be fair. Like, it's not that deep. Just find someone who can get the job done. But if he does make it like semi-finals, Champions League, hopefully finals, and then like challenges in the league till the last day, I'd be happy. But even then, that's me lowering my standards, because after what happened at the end of the season last year, basically I'm kind of like, I haven't really made up my mind. I need to see what happens by the end of the season. But So after what happened at the end of the season last year, my targets were, okay, we spent 200 million. If things are being done correctly, we should now be going on and winning the league basically this season, because we were 10 points clear, and due to a lack of like defensive like squad depth and a bit of mindset stuff, we bottled it basically. So if we got the right defensive reinforcement, replace Granit Xhaka, the team would have 1 year more of like mental experience, would know how to handle a title race, then we should have gone on to win it. But the left 8 position was fudged because we got a player like that doesn't suit that role at all in Kai Havertz. Defensively, we did make the right improvements with Timber and Saliba. Timber got and Declan Rice. Timber got injured, which is kind of why I'm not like, that's not really Arteta's fault, to be fair. Like, they made the right defensive reinforcements. So it's just really unfortunate. I could talk about it for ages. Why don't we just do an Arteta stream one day? Sorry, I've got a really loud water bottle. Fran, can you see Zubimendi and Osimhen signing and happening, and Xavi Simons and Ivan Toney? I'd love to see all 4 of them, but I don't think we'll have enough money for all 4. Like, Arsenal are moving quite broke at the moment. I could see maybe 2 of them, and then like some cheap player. I'd love to get all 4, but I don't know. They did pleasantly surprise me by getting Declan Rice. So if we could get all 4, I'd be like the happiest person in the world, honestly. But they are definitely all players, Niall, as you say, that are linked to Arsenal and that I would love to see come in the door. So Niall also saying, that's stupid. Callum Wilson is their best player. If it's for FFP, then clubs may be forced to sell players. How can Chelsea, Forest and Everton get away with it until now? It's beyond me. Yeah, it's really fishy at the moment. You haven't even mentioned City getting away with it until now. I'm just glad that they are starting to actually implement some of these punishments. It's been far too long coming, and I think unfortunately for Newcastle, like, they are actually going about it the right way. And if they have been treading close to FFP, unfortunately now they're having to sell players. Like, I don't know. I think they're reevaluating the FFP stuff and might be like adjusting it this summer. So we'll just have to see how it all goes. But yeah, Newcastle looks like they're really close to FFP, so having to offload some of their players. But I just don't know if it will be January or summer. But what I'm hearing is that they do need to get rid of a couple of really good players. So it would be nice to pounce on that. I would take Isak in a heartbeat. Yes, in this window, says Anthony, Newcastle got FFP on their backs. They got to sell a lot of players. Things don't look good at St James's Park at the moment. Yeah, it does look like a tricky situation at the moment. I might have to go and listen to a few of my favourite Newcastle podcasts to kind of see what they're thinking. But I can't imagine Newcastle fans are too happy at all. Do you think Eddie Howe's job is on the line? Like, someone's like going to be in a bit of trouble for what's going on with this FFP stuff, Right, Arsenal needs players in to give the likes of Saka, Nketiah and them guys competition on. Like, so true, Ravi. Saka, definitely. Nketiah's got Jesus' competition, to be fair. So, Ravi saying, I can't see any of the 4 coming to Arsenal. Might get Toney, but that's only if Arsenal really push for him. I would love Toney. Oh, you can't see any of the 4 coming to Arsenal? Come on. Is that Xavi Simons? Like, that's a major step up for him. Kind of. He's with PSG, but is on loan to PSV Eindhoven. But he doesn't. I think he's good enough to play for PSG. They'd be silly to let him go, I think. But they could get a big load of cash for him, to be fair. He's really talented. I think he would come to Arsenal. Osimhen, I think he might have already made up his mind to go to Chelsea, judging on like social media posts. But we can't judge like that because then Madrid would be at Arsenal. Zubimendi, the reports are actually really promising about him wanting to come to Arsenal, but like, you won't get me hyping up these reports. Like, you guys know I hate all of them. I don't believe any of them. Like, I'm not going to get my hopes up because I have no faith in our recruitment department. So anyway, so look, before we go, I just wanted to go into a few things comparing, kind of like a mid-season review type thing. Yeah, Ravi, I completely agree. Saying, Fran, Arsenal are not serious because if you were, you'd be doing better business. I was saying yesterday, Arsenal, the size of the club that we are, the fan base that we have, the facilities, like the PR, everything, like the setup that we have, like we should be and have every resource to be a club big enough to be in for the likes of Mbappe, for example. And we're kind of told like that's not mentioned, like that's not Arsenal's level, like Arsenal are not like in the level for guys like that. That's only for clubs like Real Madrid and stuff. Whereas like that's the problem. Like we need to push to be at that level. Fans need to say, actually, that is the level that Arsenal should be at. Why are you guys not like operating in a way where we're seen as like viable options for teams like that? Arguably, it's because we've been like so crap basically for the last 20 years. So if it means that you need to actually win some leagues, win some silverware to even be taken seriously by players who are at the top of the game, like Mbappe, then put everything in place, owners, to get that done. If that means changing the manager, if that means changing like the transfer team, I don't know. To be able to win trophies and therefore be in the race for players like Kylian Mbappe, then that's what you need to do. We need to be there. We need to be the top, the best of the best. And I do this like in life, like just always competition, be the best, the best. You know, I can't settle for second best. And if I was working in Arsenal right now, I would be so frustrated. But it seems like they're just trying to tell us like everything's fine all the time. And it's not. Like, we're not happy with fourth place. I'm not happy with second place. I'm not happy with this tomfoolery in transfers. I'm not happy that we're always settling for second best in the world market. We need to be going for the top level players, the best, the best, the best, the best managers, best, the best players. You know. Hey, Daniel Kibe, I like that vibe. Welcome, saying Arsenal will win the EPL. I really hope so. I love that energy from you. I love it. And I don't talk about this enough. I tend to just rant on this channel, to be fair. So a lot of people must come for like a nice chill evening and then they just hear me moaning about the way that Arsenal is run. But you know, last season we were at 100-point pace for the first half of the season, then tailed off. I like to think this season the tail off happened in the first half of the Premier League season, and the second half will be 100-point pace. So if by miracle that can happen, then we're definitely within touching distance. Like numerically, we can win the league. We're not too far off at all. We're only a few points behind, 5 points behind league leaders. Absolutely, like they lose a couple of games, we win a couple, bang, like we're back up there. So you're right. It really doesn't take much at all. Liverpool as well haven't had their little trembly moment yet, whereas we have. We've lost 2 or 3 games in a row. They lose 2 or 3, we win 2 or 3. As I say, we're a point ahead of them. So it's completely in grasp, and you're so right. I love that energy from you. Like, I need to not be so negative sometimes. It is easy to get back on top there. So anyway, look, I've just got a little list here of goals that have been scored. So Man City, who I think are still a game behind everyone else, they've scored 48. And that's with Haaland being out for a good chunk of the season, and De Bruyne. So that just kind of shows their quality, really. It's quite depressing. Liverpool next with 47. Tottenham up there with 44. Aston Villa up there with 43. Arsenal 42. So given that we're just over the halfway point of the season, that's if we carried on as we were, it's not actually as bad as I thought it would be. Like, it feels like we haven't been scoring that many, but in fact we are still 5th in the league for goals scored. Next up, it's Newcastle with 41, Brighton with 38, then Chelsea with 35. I can't see who's under that. Then Wolves actually with 30. That's a bit of a surprise. So we are 5th. But actually, I don't know about you guys, that was kind of a bit more than I thought we were on, which is kind of positive. Like the way we've all been, the way I've been seeing Arsenal is that like we can't hit like a barn door. But I suppose scoring, we would have been all the way down at what was it? We won 5-0. Okay, so before Crystal Palace, we would have been like 8th in the league for goals scored. We would have been on like 37 points. So a lot of that looks kind of better because we just beat Crystal Palace 5-0. But before that, we were like down there with Chelsea in terms of goals scored. It was really bad. So hello. What's up, Ryan, the Mr. Arsenal podcast? Everyone subscribe to Ryan if you have not already. I'll wait till the 115 charges are dealt with, then play it by ear from that in terms of the Pep documentary. Yes, completely. You're right. I mean, I don't want to watch like a Pep like celebration fest. You can say that in a slightly ruder way, which is what I'm thinking of. I don't want to watch a Pep fest for an hour when this whole time it could have been like done from cheating. So yeah, I might give it a miss as well, to be fair. Kyle's away to brush his teeth. Don't go away. I'll be back in 5. Don't worry, Carl. I'll still be here in 5 minutes. Yes. Big shout out to Leah Williams on her comeback game last night. I think Arsenal ladies won 6-0. There's a good channel, a good review of the game on Ryan's channel, the Mr. Arsenal podcast. So do check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, she's had a really long injury recovery, hasn't she? And she just came back. They won 6-0. It's fantastic. It's amazing. So I've starred a couple of your questions, but for now I'm just going to compare some of these stats. So if you'll give me a moment. So Arsenal, 42 goals, average of 2 goals per match. All this has gone up a lot since we beat Crystal Palace. And shots on target, 116. So we've had, I want to compare that with Man City and Liverpool. So shots, 346 and 116 on target. Man City have had 338. We've actually had more shots than Man City in total. That's actually crazy. We've had 346 shots this season so far. They've had 338. However, they've had 138 shots on target, and we have had 116. That's quite telling. So yeah, we've had way less shots on target than them, 116 to their 138. But we've had in total more shots. So that just shows how inaccurate our shots are, that we've got so many less on target. They've taken so many more than them. And again, points to like the lack of efficiency in Arsenal's goal scoring. So let's see how that compares to Liverpool. They've had 394 shots and exactly the same as City, actually, 138 shots on target. Yes, so they've had many more shots than us, Liverpool, and the same number of shots on target as City, and we're all the way down with 116 shots on target, shooting accuracy of 34% compared to Man City's 41% and Liverpool's 35%. So yes, also the lowest shooting accuracy amongst our direct competition, which isn't good when we're trying to compete with them to win the league. We have to shoot many more times to get like fewer goals than them at the moment. So we really need to up that like conversion rate. We're having to shoot so many times to not even get as many goals as them. So it's not looking good, as we know from the attacking stats. And this is really disappointing because I did a review a third of the way through the season where I was talking about how great our defense was looking and that we just needed to sort out the attack. And unfortunately, like the attack has just got even worse by this halfway stage of the season. Even though I was talking about it third the way through, like right at the beginning, there's something seriously missing in our attack, and the stats say it basically. So Man City have had 50 big chances created. Liverpool have had 54 big chances created. We've had 44. So yes, again, many less than our direct competition in terms of chances created and shots on target, and also shooting accuracy. So it's just not good enough up front. And you would think that the real answer to that would be bringing in a clinical goal scorer, but we've screwed our finances and have no money at the moment. So we can't bring in a striker at the moment. So it's a case of getting the guys firing. And since they did go to Dubai and came back, we are seeing a bit of an upturn already in terms of their shots and goal scoring. As I said, I hope they were away in Dubai, just having fun with the ball, like relaxing, enjoying scoring goals, not overthinking it so much. So I hope that we continue to see that, and hopefully all this time off, because we're not in any domestic competitions, they'll continue to work on their goal scoring confidence and like intuition and goal scoring instinct in front of goal, you know? So I just hope, because we're not going to bring anyone in at this point, I just hope he's managed to get our front line actually scoring again, whether that's like through slightly changing the tactics to not be quite so stagnant. We were seeing a few more kind of counter-attacking goals against Crystal Palace, you know, so whether it's changing the tactics or working on their individual mindsets. Arteta, show me that you can turn our attacking players' form around. and also create more shots on target, things like that. I mean, as I said, I mean, we've had more shots on goal than Man City, so it's not the creation of the chances, to be fair. It's just the conversion rate. It sucks, you know. So then let's have a few look at the defensive stats. So as I said at the beginning of the season, our defense was looking fantastic. You know, the whole thing was that the attacks got a little bit worse because our defense is so amazing this season. But I feel like that's probably come downhill a bit since like a third of the way through the season. So I'll have a look at your comments in a little bit, guys, by the way. I just got to concentrate for a sec. So let's have a look, first of all, at clean sheets. We've got 8. Man City have only got 5. As we know, they've also had a bit of a dodgy start to the season for their standards. And Liverpool also have 8. So we're up there with those guys in terms of clean sheets. We have conceded 20 goals. Man City have conceded 23. And Liverpool have only conceded 18. So I know a lot of the criticism was like, Liverpool, you know, they're a team that always attack full out but can be a bit leaky at the back. Well, their defense is actually really good this season. They've conceded less goals than Arsenal. Man City have conceded a few more than I thought. But yeah, we're kind of in between Liverpool and Man City in terms of goals conceded. So not actually as poor as it's felt over the last few games. We concede an average of just under 1 goal per match. Man City concede 1.15 goals per match, which is unusually high for them. And Liverpool concede even less. So Liverpool are actually looking by far the strongest at the moment with their defensive stats and goals conceded. And where were they in terms of goals scored? 47. Yeah, they've scored just 1 less than Man City, and they've also got the best defence out of us 3. So at the moment, in terms of form, Liverpool are up there. Liverpool are definitely up there. I'm hoping, you know, like they haven't had their dip in form yet, you know. I'm hoping that little run of like poor games will come in the second half of the season. Like it's got to happen at some point, right? They've only lost 1 game, I think, in the league. So let's hope for that little dip in form. Ravi, I hope you're not listening. Clearances, aerial battles. I mean, the rest of these stats are not really as important as goals conceded, to be fair. Maybe we could have a look at tackles. Arsenal are on 347. Man City way down there on 273. That's interesting. That is interesting. And Liverpool up there with 358 tackles. That's strange, you know, that Man City have so few tackles. Maybe it's because teams tend to just sit back against them a bit more, whereas, I don't know, who knows? That's very interesting. Why do they have so few tackles? I don't know. What else? I mean, if there's any other stats you guys want to see compared, they're just the very basic stats. But anyway, what I got from that was that Arsenal have the worst attack out of the top 3 teams going for the league. And we have average defence compared to the other 2. Liverpool have the best defence. Man City have the best attack. Arsenal have middle defence, but worst attack. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. In form, if Liverpool continue the way they are, then they're on track to win the league. However, Man City, as we know, have just had the return of Kevin De Bruyne, and Erling Haaland apparently is on his way back very soon. So they're also looking to get on the upward trajectory. So look, Liverpool are on fire at the moment. I'm not even going to lie. Man City are only going to be getting better from this point. If Arsenal want to continue to challenge for the league, we need to raise it a level. We really do, especially attacking wise. It can't continue the way that it is. It must be better than it currently is. And as I said, we're not bringing in a striker, so it's up to Mikel to actually earn his bucks and get our team hitting the back of the net. So that's kind of where I sit at the moment. I'll have a little read of your comments, and I'm going to call it a night tonight. I've really enjoyed tonight. It's been a really good news show. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Let's see what you guys have said, and then I will say good night to you all. Anthony asked, Fran, do you think there will be a twist at the end of the season and Arsenal might just win it? Well, it's Arsenal, you know, it's football as well. Definitely that could happen. I completely believe in, and what I love so much about football is that you can never predict what's going to happen. So I absolutely just love things like last minute comebacks in tennis, underdog stories in football. Not so much that we probably are underdogs to the league. Definitely, to be fair, compared to Liverpool and Man City with the state of play at the moment. So I definitely believe that there could be a twist. You know, Liverpool drop off a couple of games. Man City is still in patchy form despite Kevin De Bruyne coming back. It can definitely happen. It's not, as I said, Liverpool lose a couple of games, we win a couple of games, we're a point ahead. When you put it like that, it's really not too far away at all. And us being Arsenal fans, there has been a complete head loss with our recent kind of collapse. But I'm just hoping this was the last collapse needed, to get it out of our system now. And then the plan is really, really go on a winning streak now. My theory at the beginning of the season was that we were playing slow, more pedestrian, not quite so exciting because we were conserving energy for the end of the season. Recently, it hasn't looked like that's really the case, that we're building towards a climax in the last few months of the season. But I think that has been the plan. And Mikel Arteta was quoted saying things like, we need to maximize our performances March to May, February to May, like in press conferences over summer and stuff. He knows that this is the point in the season where we need to be hitting top form. So what I'm hoping is that that still is the case despite our recent dodgy results. And despite, the kind of dip in the road, that's still the trajectory of the team and part of the plan and stuff. And I'll be so pleased if that is the case, because I've been feeling so negative about it recently. But, maybe Mikel can prove us all wrong, and that is the case. They're building to really peak now. And the recent result against Palace is hopeful for that scenario. So all I can hope really is that we're peaking in the games that carry on. But as to whether that happens or not, it remains to be seen. But I do love stories like that in football, and I'm hoping that we can come through and still win it. That's what I want more than anything. Of course, as Arsenal fans, we all do, whether we like Arteta or don't. Like, if there was a way that he could turn it around and win the league, whether you like Arteta or not, like, that's all we want. So I want it desperately, because I would hate to go into summer and we've come second, third, done really badly in the Champions League. The fan base will be arguing so much about whether we should keep Arteta or not. Just being on the internet, on YouTube, would be such a toxic place, and I don't want it at all. How fantastic would it be if we don't have to deal with that whatsoever and we actually win the league? Even then, like, some people might want to change manager, but it'll be a hell of a lot better than if we do collapse again. So please, Arsenal, do it for us. Come on. What's up, Daniel? Evening. Noel Kane saying big up Leah Williams. That's amazing. Good to hear you watch the channel, Fran. Appreciate this support. Of course. I'll watch every channel. I'm there on YouTube. And yours is great. Your coverage of the women's game is fantastic. So Mr. B, Hyper Football Chat. What's up? Big up, Fran. Are you about to insult me? Just as I've said hello. How rude. Right, let me read this out, Mr. B. Thought you were going to do another themed show like the cowboy one. God damn it. Yesterday, you could have dressed a clown with a red nose and funny wig. Sorry, wait, that's your manager. Really funny, Mr. B. Really funny. Bernie, what's up? Hello. Thank you. I've just seen you were over on Kyle's stream and Posh Bertie's. I want to go and watch the rest of that. So that's the Gun Down channel. Good friend of the channel, Kyle. Him and Bertie, dynamic duo. They're both so funny when they go on rants. We're doing a show about a half-season review tonight. So go and check out if you haven't. Callum Grunshaw, your comments are wild. What? Okay, he says again. Okay, Callum. Ben Davies, not again. You're a menace to this society. Every stream, this guy comes in, just says, "Come on, you Spurs," then dips. It's unacceptable. Time out. Mr. Arsenal rightly saying, wasted money on Raya and Kai. Yeah, Raya obviously has improved. I've spoken about him loads. He's improved certain aspects. I don't even want to go into it now, but he has, but not to the levels that it justifies the £35 million spend and the disruption that it's caused to the squad. What's up, Noah? Welcome back. Liverpool Arsenal, says Callum Grunshaw, and then angry face. Your comments make no sense, Callum Grunshaw. Big up, guys. Alfie, that's my friend right there. Hey, Alfie, thank you for saying hello. I miss you, buddy. I hope last stream's going well. That's a cool profile picture. Thank you for jumping in, buddy. Ravi says Liverpool without our best players, still going strong. But I hear ya. Yeah, you guys are looking dangerous at the moment. I would prefer though for you to win the league. If it's not going to be Arsenal, if we like continue to be like not up to par, I would so much rather, and I think I speak for most football fans, that you guys win the league than City. This league is in danger of becoming a farmers' league, and to keep, you know, the jeopardy and competition alive, like Liverpool, I would so much rather you do it as well. You've managed to do it without FFP allegations over your head as well, and proves that it can be done. You don't have to break the rules to beat Pep. So I do hope you guys do it if we don't. Fran, even you have to say Jota is a baller. Yeah, he is. Like, I have nothing against Liverpool. I honestly don't. Like, your attack is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Big Tony will destroy Liverpool. That would be good. That would be good. Liverpool, win thee, says Callum. Okay. Arsenal don't strengthen. That's the league dead and gone. We're not going to strengthen. So if that's the case, then the league's dead and gone. All I can personally hope is that he manages, like, we can use the fact that we've not played for like a month to actually turn around our form. That's the only hope that we've got. Like, it's a slim hope, but it could happen. I love this comment. Fran, if Man City rise up from the dead like the Undertaker, we're all finished. Just Erling Haaland, like Frankenstein or Dracula sitting up in his coffin. We are finished. We are finished. The fact that they've scored the most goals out of all of us with a game in hand, and Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne have been out, like, says it all really. Like, we are finished. Last night I was at the theatre. My dad does like lights and sound for a school nearby, and they were in a theatre, like they'd rented out this theatre. They were doing a production of Oliver. I hope no one from the school is watching. But my boyfriend nudged me halfway through, and he this is while the play was happening. He was like, "Hey, that girl on the bottom left." I was like, "What? Like, what, babe? Like, we're in the middle of a theatre." He goes, "She looks like Erling Haaland." It just sent me, like, it was just this girl with like quite a square face, and like she did as well, and it just sent me, like, I was trying not to snort in the middle of the theatre. The way he said this, like right in the middle of the play, it made me laugh. Oh, 34 likes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Fran, huge congratulations on 789 subs. Oh my god, thank you. We're 11 away from 800. Please, like, please, I can't wait. I'm like racing a couple of my buddies to get to 800. Fran, I'm saying if we lose to Liverpool, I want Arteta's head because our season is over. Damn, you're going to be going at it like the French Revolution with a guillotine. Eat the rich. No beheading, okay? But I know you don't mean that. Yeah, we can't lose to Liverpool. I'm so excited for that game, though. This is what I love. This is what it's all about, like the big high-pressure games. And another thing people aren't really talking about, like the reason why it's so devastating to go out of the cup so early, and I haven't heard people talking about this, is the fact that playing in later and later rounds of cups, whether you think it's a huge competition or not, it's the team is practicing playing in really high-pressure matches. And the more you get to do that, obviously, the calmer and more able you're going to be able to handle pressure as a team. You know, semi-final, whatever competition it is, you're a team, you have to perform, you're getting used to handling with dealing with the pressure, dealing with high pressure situations. And maybe that's why Pep always went so hard for the league, so that they can have, you know, a league final and in the beginning of the year to set them up for the later stages of the Champions League, get the team practicing under pressure. There's nothing like it. And now Arsenal, we're just going to be just training, no pressure FC, until we're like in the latter stages of the Champions League. Whereas if we'd have had, you know, League Cup final, FA Cup semis, FA Cup finals, we'd be in that like competition and pressure mentality and ready to take it on. It wouldn't be so much of a leap from just playing the Prem and then suddenly Champions League. Like, that is so important to practice being in competitions, you know. And we've had none of that because we've been knocked out so early in cups the last few years. Like, we've had so few like semi-finals or things like that to practice as a team. And then, you know, we're wondering why our team bottled the league. It's because we've not had to practice being in pressure situations. We've not had enough games in competitions to be able to handle the pressure. I haven't had people talk about that, but I think it's important. Ravi's saying, if Arsenal get knocked out the Champions League and don't win the league, then Arteta must go. Yeah. I'm kind of torn, like, because if we make it to the last day and then like we miss out by goal difference or something like that because Erling Haaland scored like 10 goals in a match, then it's like, okay, that wasn't our fault. But if it's stuff that Arsenal have like done wrong, like Arteta's done wrong, that's meant that we haven't continue to challenge, then yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Come Tottenham today. Thank you for your comments, Callum, but they make no sense. How am I meant to read that out? So Ravi, he won 1 trophy from a possible 16. He should already be good. Yeah, should he though? He's not good enough, never has been, never will be. He hasn't been, but I think he could be in the future. But my question is always like, how long will it take for him to get the experience necessary to be the manager that he could become one day? You know, like maybe 10 more years and like, yeah, whatever, like he's got the experience necessary. It's just the whole madness of him getting his first ever job at Arsenal. He should have gone to the lower leagues, like got experience of what to do in certain situations, then come to a club like Arsenal. And I think it's still a weird decision, although he's done better than I thought. It's still a weird decision to have someone who can't draw from that wealth of personal experience in the job to be suddenly put in the top job at Arsenal, you know? So anyway, you guys, Taib is sleepy. I'm also sleepy. I'm also sleepy. From 1 trophy from 18 after 637 million, which is more than Arsenal have spent in 22 years. Yeah, that stat alone is, yeah, that's really bad. And I love it, AJ. Like, keep putting these facts out there. You know, people need to listen. And I know people tell you like you're negative, like you're just toxic, whatever. But no, like these are the facts, and you need to keep reminding channels and people like me, like the facts are the facts, you know? So anyway, look, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're 11 followers away from 800. That'll be sick. I'm loving doing these daily streams, although I must say I've chosen like a horrible time to start doing daily streams with you guys because we've had 1 match in a month. So as like a new streamer, I've found like the most ridiculous time to try and start coming in with daily streams. But like, I know you guys want to keep chatting, but let's save it for tomorrow. As I said, I'm at dinner tomorrow night with the in-laws, which will be nice. So I'll have to work out when I'll be able to stream. But as always, just stick on the notifications. And at some point in the afternoon, I'll put up a stream thumbnail once I've made it. Yeah, it takes me like an hour or 2 to make a thumbnail. Then I have to stick that up and but I'll do it as soon as possible, and I'll see you at some point tomorrow, bar a medical emergency or something like that, or like a migraine. I get a lot of migraines, but I look forward to it. I've really enjoyed chatting with you guys tonight. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Niall. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Mr. B. Thank you, Taib. Thank you, Callum. Even your comments don't make any sense. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jez, for popping in earlier. Thank you for everyone listening who hasn't left a comment. I appreciate you, the silent listeners. So yeah, yeehaw, guys, yeehaw. Now, Fran, it's all good, very enjoyable. Oh, thank you. Oh no, Fran, if there was only one thing you could choose, being an artist or an Arsenal fan, which would you choose? Can I not be both? Oh man. That's a really difficult question. Can I pass? I don't know. To me, I would probably choose artist because that's like my survival mechanism. Like, I couldn't survive without my art. I could survive, although my life would be much less colourful without Arsenal. But I could not survive without doing art. Like, it's therapy for me. Anything bad happens, I just start drawing, and then I'm able to cope, you know? But yeah. So look, let me not get distracted. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you jumping in every day, especially Ravi. Like, this isn't even your club, but you're here the whole time. And I thank you so much for all the engagement and comments. I couldn't do this show if you guys weren't commenting. I would just have nothing to talk about. So thank you so much again, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful rest of your night. I hope you'll sleep very well. Have a good day at work tomorrow, or relaxing, whatever it is you're doing. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Good night, y'all. Yeehaw. Bye now.